Tucson, frankly, is the same everywhere. It's a careless act of somebody discarding something. Sometimes it's intentional and they throw it out a car window. Sometimes it's unintentional but still irresponsible if it's flying out of the back of a pickup truck, things that people have put in there. It basically means that people are not being careful or not caring about the community enough to hold the trash until they find a proper place to either recycle or throw it away. There are areas that are on the way to the landfills, that are on side roads that get very little traffic, where we see heavy illegal dumping. So penalties for litter can be potentially, for a first infraction, several $100s if they were to be cited. For repeat offenders or for businesses that are caught, the fines can go into the thousands of dollars, plus the cost of the cleanup if it's a lot of material. Local police, law enforcement often are not concentrating on that, and there are cases where people do receive tickets for littering, but it's rare compared to other police actions. It's really a challenging thing to try to enforce. At the same time, it really is quite easy to dispose of litter the next time you're at the gas station, when you get home, when you get to work. So we really do try to encourage people to not litter in the first place and to also clean up the areas where they are so we don't have to worry about enforcement and fines. The most common trash item in terms of the number of items is probably cigarette butts. However, in terms of the volume of trash, typically it's fast food type items. Is also a very common item in terms of the size of it and the amount of space it takes up in a trash bag.
I think definitely it is everybody's problem, and I definitely think we should raise awareness to keep our city clean. I really would have to say that the entire community is affected by littering, just because we have the nickname Dirty T. Like, how awful is that, right? You know, at the beginning we were surprised to find a large amount of litter at the park, and every time we clean the park, we collect at least one large garbage bag, but usually it takes two. For example, my sorority sisters and I, we never use the park that we adopted, which is Ori Park, you know, whether we made the mess or not. You know, it's our responsibility, you know, as humans, to take care of the environment which we live in.
Neighborhood association is basically a group of people who care about a particular neighborhood. We have a cleanup 4 times a month, every month, for about 2 hours. What my job is to bring in all the different parts of the neighborhood. So one of the ways that we do that is through a cleanup. A lot of times you've heard of Neighborhood Watch, and Neighborhood Cleanup does the same thing as Neighborhood Watch, but it has a good connotation, and if you don't get anything accomplished at the end of the day, at least you've cleaned the area up. The real challenge is building partnerships. You know, we're going to have a cleanup here today, and almost everything that we pick up, you know, there's going to be more trash. But if you develop a system where you're partnering, right now we're partnering with Tucson Clean and Beautiful, and you get everyone to do their part. You know, everyone would clean up their area if they knew it was their area and if they knew it was dirty. But a lot of times they just don't know. When you're hanging out with other people in your community that care just as much as you do about your community, then you want it to be clean and you want it to be beautiful, and you start to look for ways to make it even better. You know, I think it's natural for a volunteer to get really motivated by the negatives when they see more trash, when there's a, you know, God forbid that, you know, a house has been broken into along the West Branch here, or we see a bunch of graffiti. That's really when we, kind of like firemen, we actually go towards the action. So, you know, we get frustrated, and that motivates us. Building those partnerships is key, because you can't do it all. I can't do it all. But you know, if we each do our part, it's amazing.